Hello, the species value nature system. I want you to see clear body of value, radical correlation, science, real science. And I want you to see pseudoscience, interscience. Watch. Two sexes in the species body. Trinity is manifest as our nature and as its relationship to itself, being a part of the identity of space, inherently, actively, progressively, simultaneously. Now watch out, watch too. It is simultaneously the identity of space. Distinctly value left to right, right to left, and overall up at the same time, overall as an overall nature, as discerned distinctly from right to left nature. Overall, I mean right to left first. In other words, overall right to left and top down right to left are two different things, because in conjunction with the bottom up. And overall right, left to right, top down, and overall down are two different things. Now this discernment of overall top down beyond our control, overall above us, beyond our, this is how you discern the clear body of value, discern the clear body of value as identity of space in demonstration of itself diffusing through, as a sequence nature, distinctly right to left, as distinct sequence nature, distinctly left to right, as a sequence nature, distinctly overall up. English was revealed to teach this. Adam and Eve was revealed to teach this. Adam and Eve are physical body in relationship to a left to right, a right to left conversation, and as value as in nature, which is right to left and left to right at the same time, and in relationship to alpha and omega, in other words, at the same time, as polarity nature in demonstration of its inseparable relationship to value, which is only positive value nature progression, evolution, or de-evolution. That's science. That's got nothing to do with evolution. Religions are about the criminal re-engineering of sciences. That's the most scientific truth recorded always, and then to the extent, to great extents, more than standing physical delusions are capable of defending themselves and against innocent fact treatment, correlation nature, voices. So we have offensive predatory experts in roles in conjunction with original progressed fact mistreatments, trick fact treatments, formally, and shared intonation. In other words, just like someone with passions that are dishonest jumps up and says tries to say, oh, religion and evolution, they're not about the same thing. Also, like when the term foreigner, because they're doing everything multi-front from keeping correlation. But so we'll sequence nature too. There's three natures of time, right? As the same thing, at the same time, right to left. The time is the phenomenon of the forever nature of space's identity and diffusion through temporary space nature that has all one value, the same, which is the identity of space, and which is its relationship to physics and to metaphysics, Trinity. Now, the three natures of time are the sequence nature, which is half temporary nature, half forever nature. This is the difference between positive value nature and negative value nature, as temporary value nature, as temporary positive. What makes, in other words, this is obfuscated because each of the sciences are criminally re-engineered to obfuscate our fact treatment nature. Also juxtaposed natures of overt and unrealized and criminally legalized criminal insidious natures. I'm not a lawyer. This is what religions are about. We'll see. In criminal insidious natures and relationship to criminal enterprises. In the archetypal criminal enterprise, the devil. In relationship, for example, to the tree of the knowledge of the good and evil, the tree of life. The tree of life first is the left to right is about positive relationship to itself. In relationship to the overall value nature system of space, why it has us have appreciation for natural values, needs for them, a conversation that was tactically denatured to perpetually exploit it, taking away the value of the campus martius, then criminally re-engineered, then countered by Christianity and by the other religions, by Islam. Islam is about right to left nature, beyond the Z, but in conjunction with it. The top of the Z is right to left nature overall, pointing towards. Now, when we claim what we think is overall, and if as long as we're trying to do that honestly, in conjunction with finite value and what is actively valued, positive, awesome, positive on to his way to at the same time, that causes evolution. So when we're not, even if it's criminally agreed to be criminally legalized, criminal insidious nations, causes negative value nature progression, causes criminal insidious natures and acts, like predicate acts, causes needs for things like sanctions, as responses to negative value nature progressions set up to be blamed on others, and to perpetually be exploiting victims of the same thing. Only let realize victim nations, since we don't even have our founders' slavery explained, because we have worse than criminal incompetence with the legal natures of every modern nation. It's a branch. That means every agency. And so that it needs to hide that, to defend their roles within as that nature. As a tool, predatory litigation nature, only in comparison to nature, sophistication. Only in relation to physical manifestations with invention, only let realize because they took over the unity to a negative value nature progression. That's not evolution. That's why the environment, the species go extinct. You know what I'm saying? Because the nature, there's physical nature, there's nature's relationship, there's physical value, there's value as nature, and then there's value as nature's relationship to itself. This is a demonstration to us all ways at once. That's why the earth is flat and round at the same time in demonstration to us. We are value here, or it's pushed from here, Lethe of Hades. Force space nature transfer, because the identity of space that's coming through here has the phenomenon of the concentration of the shared value that is the same left to all space nature, that temporary space nature, but of the physical progression concentrated here. That's where we have the everything in demonstration of the night and the day. Everything's in demonstration like organs of the body of the clear body of value of Allah, of a semi-nature of Allah, but enough to see that he's a forever nature before, actively as the value of life, and beyond it. Now, Jesus, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, or the Holy Ghost, this is the Trinity. This is about the Trinity in temporary space nature, but as temporary forever nature. Not just individually, but together. So this is why everything is demonstrated. The Trinity is of the cell of the body, of cells of bodies, the nucleus, the cell body, the cell wall, and the cell walls attached together and the identity of each cell are those three values at once, as a sequence nature distinct but shared with the rest of the identity of the other cells and of the sequence nature of the body, of the fruit, of the human. I haven't looked at human cells, of tomato cells that way. But you could other plant cells are that way. And it's like same thing with our cells. I mean, where you could see with your eyes. Oh, in other words, I'm not a doctor. I'm an expert on English grammar, on the nature of English grammar, which is also a relationship to itself, and physics at the same time, and sequence nature. Sequence nature, so the three natures of time are sequence nature, is physical time in relationship to the identity. The identity is three is the phenomenon as value is three natures of time at once in relationship to themselves. See, but now in modern nations, every one forced to bridge top-down nature, not the identity of what is positively progressive onto itself, which needs its campus. The ancient snow people this is how the ancients probably told history way better than they teach now. The ancient snow people gave birth to the civilizations of Africa and of Asia at once. And together they gave birth to Europe and to the Campus Martius. And the whole world and the Native Americans were there. They were part of it too. They gave birth to the Campus Martius. This was stolen from everyone's memory because our education was tactically re-engineered, recorded itself, still, inherently, actively, progressively. In relationship to the last battle of the Revolutionary War, physical delusions, in relationship to reception of that, and the correlation of fact treatments through. For example, a relationship, no taxation without representation. Everyone's victim predators only realized the roles like this as a criminal insidiousness nature, as a value nature system tactically separated, tactically forced denatured with the slavery of our founders, with everyone differentially, for the perpetual fact treatment exploitations, perpetually divide and conquer before is these battles, their coalitions. But before they were that naturally, they only realized agencies incapable of defending themselves and of their nations at the same time as only pseudo-patriotism natures. Realize victim predators is what Cain and Abel is about. Because this is what happens. Even if you're criminally legalized criminal enterprise, you're going to have to cause predicate acts. You're going to have to hide lie progressions tied to it. You're going to have to hide your nature. So you can't. So pure correlation nature is not being allowed to use its means to see through what is known to see what is unknown. In other words, so people say, oh, how could someone over here know about this? Meanwhile, they have modern language involved with interpretations of things. They have internation police shared here with criminal justice rackets on off campus with shared crime methods, pretending undercover rights to lie for roles with rackets of the online and with other investigations with database crimes. Evidence rackets only let realize victim predator fact treatments in relationship to the law originally inherently actively progressed, cultivated this way from the base, propagated since before the birth of our founders, North and South America, internation, only that realized victim predator agencies, pseudo-sophistication, victim predator judicial context. It's not even debatable, slavery and things like that. It was for a crime method with fact treatment nature, because they understood its effect. Treatment because they criminally re-engineered ancient, originally revealed understanding of how to cause evolution. And why we have a value nature system relationship to nature. See, rackets with the terms capitalism and communism, and this is with physical delusions, with treatments of market positions. When there are common sense, every nation shares what has the right to lock down bottoms right now of markets, and to declare the species in a revolution zone. In other words, before there's market, and then we move to make a relationship to nature that's not only better, but it is capable of evolving. That means it's working with the identity of space. That is the value here. That is overall up. See, we have a bottom-up nature blocking overall up evolution. The slavery of our founders, everyone differentially, it was also with crazy zoning laws, crazy database relationships, tactical denatured relationship to nature to cause people stacking, tactically denatured sciences to cause negative value nature progressions, to cultivate everyone to roles, blaming on other and on others, defending formal roles with and as abridged, breaching nature, breaching roles, breaching pseudo-patriotism fronts, as victim predators only that realize methods of child abuse, simultaneously with and as elderly abuse, simultaneously with it as areas rackets, areas maintained, the science is this way, then only let realize branches in industries, and then again, because everyone has pseudo-sophistication. Sophistication is correlation nature. It reveals that poverty is in a trap. Thank God, the suburbs too. And it's all recorded. So we have, immediate means to utilize what we could all lift and move together and reveal together. Not private, because this is a revolution. You don't sit there at the end of a battlefield and start. You clean up, and you try to heal. You don't exploit this. That was what happened with how we went into World War I with France, sharing the same enemy that we were stuck to, that our founders had to leave, and the French general and George Washington had to leave slavery in the North, in Wethersfield, Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut, had to leave it here, had to leave it in the South, with their own slavery, left not explained fully, but recorded. In other words, but they have other force with background justification of it that are dishonest because they're tied to medical corruption, tied to courts. Only let realize needing to cover up lie progressions in relationship to investigators that never had integrity. And worse, because how would that tied to the intercampuses and with the areas maintained meaning to this? All this is recorded online with rackets with them offensive, but with the policing online. But see, there's nowhere to report these things. And then there's everyone's trained to justify pseudo-integrity. So this is how slavery was blamed on other and on others, not by accident. It was set up to be that. This is how Native American rights stay forsaken as means, as the identity of space as a native. It only works overall up. It's what the native drum means, is calling to our nature. So we have nature of, like they say about the training with treatments of women. and stuff like that. It's worse than, because there's not going to be right training until we have pseudo-education tactically engineered, tactically employed, criminally foreign influenced, there and here. In other words, we need a quality of fact treatment nature capable of countering juxtaposed natures of criminal insidiousness only let realize justify it. And that the justifications of that, especially formally, they can't defend that and against ratiocination, which is correlation's inherent active and progressive means. So they're blocking free speech offensively. This is the problem with the shootings, especially in areas where there are a lot of shootings. It's formal corruption with an as a nature that is a pseudo-recorded, pseudo-patriotism nature, juxtaposed with internation families pretending it's about culture and about cultural differences when they know it's about their roles as shared knaves, as database racket natures, but see, as victim predators, and so everyone has only that realized respected nature that only lets rackets people formally involved to all areas microphones in important conversations, preventing correlation offensively, hurting people with it, stacking database lies against people, formally police forms juxtaposed, recording, using, pretending things were recorded that weren't, sequence shifting with interbranch police too, and with in courts rackets through time. This is a method that is cultivating stayed, originally progressed pseudo patriotism natures in relationship to what was as fake North and South as the same roles with slavery, which was a long-term keep divided and conquered. No one was going to say in that crazy thing. That is with the fact cheap nature slavery of our founders, a crime method that had them, everyone standing as criminal insidiousness nature, opinion natures, as theater forced, measured, entertained, speaking anyways, as they tell you, even in social, for the crime method. Because then when they cultivated that, then one is saying they did that against the Native Americans off the records by just by stealing their means and education, their time, their value nature, tactically denaturing their relationship to nature and to nature's means and to each other, tactically having it blamed on other and on others, tactically investing it blamed on other and others, like money. Wasn't money. They could have done things, but it wasn't like everything had an excuse that was set up. It was a database crime method, a breaching method. So all we have to do is admit this. Then because you make paradise, especially for the urban areas first, and together with the same plan. But I mean, connect to go by the water, where the water is underground, where they tactically denatured it with zoning laws and stuff like that, left uncharged with all that rules with this. But at the same time, understanding and explaining and offensively countering what is offensively exploiting, only let realize exploited human fact treatment nature, and with them by insidious justification natures, pseudo care natures towards like things like homelessness, morality, fake morality, because that's what the branches had to do, as they were only let realized with roles, with slavery, with Jim Crow laws, with criminal incompetence, and worse, with criminal foreign influences. That can't hide that in the rules and explain and allow explained how color was used for a long-term factory nature breaching method, and by only that realized black and white Native agencies in collusion with that, and against Native Americans, against every color. England was not that big. In other words, too. Every spot, every leadership was taken to a reaction to extortion, one nature of extortion, tied to one nature and method of extortion, cultivation of of self-maintained extortion of states and areas, fact treatment roles, and of areas bottom-up roles, only that realized. Predatory against the voice of overall nature, bottom-up, actively and top-down simultaneously, in relationship to four shared police markets positions not demonstrated, even though they're recorded, tied to all kinds of crime methods and progressions, because they're juxtaposed with exploited areas this way. As its tools, formally, blaming on others. No one ever heard legal nature's voice. They only heard predatory litigation nature. And so, that needs to speak with sensibilities. That keeps. That's in conjunction with crime methods, with kids uncharged, originally progressed. That's telling them to think with impressions. And while they are multi-front trick fact treatment nature sick, we have to teach them how to use premises, and we have to free. And see, they have things like the bully pulpit, and they call argument, because they don't want us to understand ratiocination and pseudo-ratiocination, and they have pseudo-ratiocination nation and ratiocination's name recorded, not let reported, offensively. Database illusion stack and torturing people. Torture. That's what poverty